Hey, it's Larry Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with calling it the deck harvesting thing. This was an idea from somebody on the Discord. It was a good name. Let's see here. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Black Horizon 40k. Yeah, that works. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I kind of went through and slimmed down the decks at this point, but I want to uh take the precons and take out cards that I want, go over the decks. If there's cards that you like and I hit, you go, hey, I like this here, here, and here, and I'll say it too. But um I'm gonna just try and fit it into my current decks. And because I've seen enough people playing them or trying to upgrade them or whatever. And I'm gonna try and do this and we'll see how that goes, right? So I'm gonna basically try and go through these. When I was kind of looking through them, it took me about 20 minutes per when I was just kind of reading through them on my own. So that's what I would expect, about 80 to 90 minutes worth. If you're not watching this live, I would suggest watching this in, 1.5 speed. You'll get through more stuff. And I will go over my decks when we get to it, kind of. So let's see. This is the first time I'm doing it. I've thought about it, but we'll see. Let's start out with like probably the worst one. I don't know the names of them. I don't know Warhammer 40k, so I'm going to butcher a ton of these words and names. I don't know anything about any of this stuff, how to pronounce it and stuff like that. So let's go over this one. From what I was looking at for reprints, this deck had probably the worst like uncommons, and the most cuttable, like kind of the worst land base by like a card or two. And so it was just kind of different. It's like whoever was doing this was kind of on a different idea than the other three decks. So and then this is Grixis, red, black, blue, and let's go through decks where this would kind of apply. I don't have any red, blue, like black, blue decks, but if it can fit in there, we can do it. Don't have that, doesn't work. Red, blue, but there isn't like this is landfall. That could kind of red, black, that might work. Varric, nope, not really. Umbrus, Savine might be. Kenrith is 5 colors, so I'll just try and remember that. I'm just trying to make sure that like slim down the piles so that it doesn't take up too much. Sisay is probably pretty close to done. Oscar, a little bit of overlap, but Alayla is probably going to get a lot more cards from the Esper one. Feather, Will Wise, probably not going to get much there. That's kind of clue focused. Essex, I don't. How this might be the one with like the basically the kicker that makes copies. Calcium might get something here. Calamax, Ishin. I mean, shit. Maybe I should just. I'll just have them down below. I'll just have them all down below. We'll see here, and then just I can eye them up. I don't want to like remember and be like, oh, this could be good here. It's just better if I'm like able to visualize it and be like, okay, what goes where? All right, Kenrith, and that'll be off to the side a bit. Oop, those are actually very visible. I don't care about those. All right. So let's see here. There's roughly 23 decks here. That's what I got. I have currently. Let's go through the decks and see what they're like. If anybody likes them, let me know. Um, Abandon the Despoiler. I'm not going to do like mana cost. You can see it a lot quicker than I can read it. 5/5 trample. During your turn, spells you cast from hand with mana value X or less have Cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. I think it's a cool card. I know a lot of people like Cascade, but it doesn't fit in anything currently. This one is pretty cool. Belcar, the Dark Master, 6/5 flyer. When Belcar enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. So at least it's 1 and 1. And then whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. That is, I really like the Pandemonium effect or Warstorm Surge. I'm sure it's in here. I think I saw that reprint. And that's sweet. That's super sweet, and that's what pulls me there, like, I like that a lot. Make it tribal. So that's something that I potentially could build, but there's only so much I can build, right? Alright. Heralds of Teenth, that's a 3/3 flyer demon. It has Cascade. Boring. That's not gonna go anywhere. Nurgle's Rot, 1 black, aura, enchanted creature an opponent controls. When enchanted creature dies, return Nurgle's Rot to its owner's hand, and you create a 1/3 black demon creature token. Uh, yeah, I mean it's okay if you're really like focused. This has a shot actually. I do have like killing creatures deck, which is Kelsian, and so that could work under Kelsian because I get a little creature. Probably not going to make it, but it's something that might fit in there. Blood Crusher of Corn. Corn. I like Corn. 3/3 trample, demon knight. Other creatures you control have trample. Now, I think that's pretty cool. I like it when effects or there's like permanents that give your whole gang a pump up. Um, but I don't have anything where this really fits. Other creatures you control. Yeah, not really. And that's all right. All right, Chaos Terminator Lord, 3/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. That's pretty good. And so, like, if you are Voltronish, that can really work for you. And that could be Hinata or Calamax. Probably Hinata, like the flying and trample. And then I have some stuff that work with it currently. It's kind of like more of like a big. It's in a rework stage, so I don't know. I don't have to think about it too hard. Like, could it work there? Yeah. So let's put it there, and then when we're going through it a little bit more serious, I can make the cuts then. All right. Herald of Slanesh, 2/2. Demon spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Other demons you control have haste. That's very good in a demon deck, right? Um, Maybe speckable. I don't know what its cost is at right now, but drives me towards that demon deck as well. Noise Marine 3/2 and has Cascade. And then when Noise Marine enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to any number of equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn to any target. Indifferent. It'd be 2 because you're casting the Cascade spell first. Yeah, I don't care. Seeker of Slanesh, 3/3 haste. Each opponent must attack with at least one creature each combat if able. That can work in your forced combat decks. Do I have one? Um, Ishin, I have 2 Ishin decks and I have 2 Calamax decks. One of the Calamax is Dragon's Approach, and the other is just Combat Trick heavy-ish. And then Ishin is an aggressive one and a defensive one, and so this might help with the defensive one, but again, 4 mana is a little expensive. The Lost and the Damned enchantment. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control from anywhere other than your hand, you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, create a 3/3 red spawn creature token. Oh, I don't have any exile play stuff. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control from anywhere, and then I can create a 3/3. Savine plays from the graveyard. I can put that over there. Is there anybody else that's red blue? No, no. It's a land. Cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So Savine has the potential. Oscar isn't casting spells. We can try that in Savine, see if that works out. It might be me. All right. Hey, Black Horizon. I'm a I'm a noise marine. All right, Paul. Hey, Nick. You can stay. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Um, I don't even know what that means that you're a noise marine. Is that I don't know what to expect there. Nope. Which one was it? Noise Marine. Alright, you're a Noise Marine. I get it. Kappa? You looking for, like, Mario stuff? Uh, alright. I'm sorry. Do you want Did you get this? Do you need this card there, Paul? You need Noise Marine? I'd crack them if you wanna use them. There's a lot of really cool cards in here. Lord of Change, 6/6 demon, flying ward 3. When the Lord of Change enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. So it's blinkable, very blinkable. Um, I don't think I have any real need for a 7 drop that draws me 3 cards. Maybe Essex, like, copying it, but probably not. Yeah, probably not. Which one should you crack? The ones that I like are not this one. This one was my least favorite, so the red, black, blue one was my least favorite. Um, the other 3 I kind of really liked. I don't know what you're trying to do with it, and so this is kind of what we're gonna talk about, Nick, is, like, if you like cards from stuff, you're gonna be able to see what is in these and if it's usable for you, or are you just going for value? Do you have usage? There's a lot of different things that you could be cracking these for. If you're just cracking one, um, that's up to you. Light grenade, sorcery, destroy target creature. All creatures get -3/-3 until end of turn. I'm not into that. Great unclean one, demon for 5. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 2 life. Then, for each opponent who has less life than you, create a 1/3 black demon creature token. Um, 2 life. I don't. It's a demon, which doesn't really work. It's expensive. So, is there any like black white tokens that I have? No. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, not using that. All right. Mandate of Abandon. Sorcery. Choose target creature you control. Destroy all creatures with power less than the creature's power. So this is kind of a play on like Fell of the Mighty or something. I listen to your Spotify all the time. Never turned into the tube. I listen to you in the middle of Pacific Ocean on my ship. Holy shit. You're the first. That's crazy, man. That's awesome. I'm glad that you joined here. Um, what are you just hanging out there? Or are you like a fisherman? Or what you doing out there, Nick? All right. Mandate of Abandon. I think it's a cool card. I don't know how to use it yet. Choose target creature you control. Destroy all creatures with power less than that creature's power. You're on an oil tanker. Fuck, that's hard work right there. You getting paid well? I'm assuming so. You don't got to say anything, but that's that could eh, if things are getting out of control for Kelsian, but I'm also debating on getting rid of Kelsian here. Well, yeah, yeah, I agree. Mandate of Abandon's good for a Voltron deck. Nick, I totally feel you on wanting to play more Magic. I think that's everybody's bit. Like, I wish I could play more Magic. Um, but I guess I just talk about it more. Mortarion, Demon Primarch, 5/6 flying, Demon Primarch. I don't even know what a Primarch? At the beginning of your end step, you may pay X. If you do, create X 2/2 black artisan art warrior creature tokens with menace. X can't be greater than the amount of life you've lost this turn. The beginning of your end step. See, that could be really cool in Varric because I'm paying a lot of life. And then that can get me it's a little bit vampire tribal, but a payoff for all that life loss is kinda good. Hey, appreciate it, Nick. Keep on keep it on. That is scary work. The, real quick, I was in creative writing in high school, and it was junior, senior year, and our, to get the creative juices flowing, our English teacher always said, or like would ask us a question. One of them was like, "What do you fear the most?" And everybody did a lot of weird, easy stuff like afraid of the dark or dying or stuff like that. And mine was the ocean, and is basically one of the few that he stopped on. And he's like, "Why did you? What are you saying the ocean?" I was like, "Have you ever like just been like snorkeling and you look?" And I wasn't snorkeling, it was, just having goggles and shit on, and then you just look out and you can see forever and there's just nothing. And it's just so it's probably that whole like existential dread type feeling. And that's kind of what I felt like with the ocean. So you out in the middle of Pacific, whew, that's pretty awesome. Um Astartes? Okay, thanks. Thanks Black Horizon. Space Marines. All right. Yeah, that might Astartes? Astartes. Alright. Nurgle's Conscription. It's an instant. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard enter the battlefield tapped under your control, then exile that player's graveyard. That's dope. That's I like it. Not for any of my decks, but like, I had that deck. It's the, Chronologist that taps and ends the turn from the first commander event, that works with this, I believe. So, that'd be pretty cool there. Plague Drone. Demon 3/3 flying. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. Actually, a key component to my Kenrith deck because the big thing that I play off of is the gaining life. Target player gains 5 life. So most of the time, I'm draining everybody, and then I get this down and I gain 20, 30 life. And then the next turn, the more instances of this, I can start winning the game. So this is awesome there for sure. Poxwalkers. 3/1 Death Touch. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, return Poxwalkers from the graveyard to the battlefield tap. I I don't whenever you cast a spell. So Beamtown Bullies ain't gonna do that. Let's see here. Ishin's not really doing that. Ooh, Muldrotha. Do I care about that though? Muldrotha plays from the graveyard, obviously. Um, yeah, that could potentially go there. Sloppity Bile Piper. 3/3 demon. Pay 2 and tap it. Sacrifice a creature. The next creature spell you cast this turn has Cascade. That's pretty cool, but I don't think I care about that. I don't really have anything that is like sacrificing creatures. That's not a thing I'm doing currently. All right, we'll bend that. Tallyman of Nurgle. Astartes Warrior, 2/3 lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. If 7 or more creatures die this turn, and so, oh, I do like this one. 3 mana. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, if 7 or more creatures die this turn, instead you draw 7 cards. So this could go in Calcium proper because this is focusing on killing creatures. I'm down. Okay. Venom Crawler. Uh Demon 2/2 lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Venom Crawler. I There are a handful of cards that already do this thing. It just doesn't have lifelink, but I'm not looking to do this. And so something like let's talk about is this could be good in the Teysa Karlov deck that like doubles the death triggers. It can go well in anything where if you're considering your like blood artist type decks, it probably like this. So it's in that realm. Yawgmoth would like it potentially. You know, aspiring champion 3/3 Astartes warrior. Just build a better deck. No, I refuse. I refuse. 3/3 menace. When aspiring champion deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card on the battlefield and shuffle the rest of the library. If that creature is a demon, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Well, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. Um, is there a way to cheat out fatties? Fatties anywhere? Probably not. No, I'm good. I can go. Bloodthirster is really good. Sub Renshai. Ah, Bloodthirst is crazy good, right? 6/6 flying trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap it. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. Bloodthirster can't attack a player it has already attacked this turn. Now, it's probably not worth sheeting in with Beamtown Bullies. It's not an attack trigger, so Ishin doesn't work. It can be really aggressive. I don't think it really fits anywhere at this point. I think it's dope, but it doesn't fit anywhere. I would need to see how would it work with Myriad. I'd have to see how what the wording is on Myriad specifically, but let's whenever it deals combat damage to a player on tap it after this combat phase, there's an can't attack a player it has already attacked this turn. So attacked is technically different than attacking. So myriad creatures never attack a player. They come into play attacking already. But the question would end up being is when do those creatures get sacrificed? Is it after this combat phase there's an additional combat phase? I'm pretty sure it's at the end of the combat phase that Myriad gets sacked. And so I would say they go away. But they would be able to come into play attacking those other players that it potentially has already attacked. So, um, the copies would not stay around, but you can make them. Oh, that's a really good point too. Um, yeah, yes, but after at a point, this would have to stop attacking. So you get a bunch of extra combat steps with the copies. Yes, I would say yes. Um, without looking at Myriad, but I would say yeah. And then, that's really cool. I like that idea. Brutal. Dark Apostle. 3/3 Warlock, Space Marine. Pay 3 mana tap. The next non-creature spell you cast this turn has Cascade. Oh, I do like that for the non. Is that good enough for Hinata? I get some really low casting things, but if I cascade into an X spell, that's kind of blah. Savine has a bunch of non-creature spells. I dig that. That could work in Savine. Keeper of Secrets, 6/4 demon, first strike haste. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, Keeper of Secrets deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent. 6 mana is a lot for that. I think it works for Cascade, it works for like something like Prosper, casting from exile. I just don't have anything that does that really on a consistent basis for 6. Kieran the Betrayer. Whenever it attacks or blocks each combat, if able, then you lose control of Karn, draw 2 cards. If damage would be dealt to Karn, the Betrayer, prevent that damage, an opponent of your choice gains control of it. So I liked this card for a second and was thinking, oh, I could just peg it off with Kelsian, but the damage prevented. And so that is not going to work for me pretty much in any. I don't like that. But by Knight Rampager, 6/5 Knight, trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random. Knight Rampager attacks that player this combat if able. When Knight Rampager dies, it deals 4 damage to target opponent chosen at random. Um, See, this is one of those things where it's like random against like solid built decks like the other three. Like it just isn't gonna work. They're not goofy decks, and so this shit is not really gonna be good. So it's not good. I don't like it. Let the Galaxy Burn. Plenty of mana. It has Cascade. Let the Galaxy Burn deals X plus 2 damage to each creature that didn't enter the battlefield this turn. I don't like it. I don't like this card. So yeah. Yep. Blood for the Blood God. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Discard your hand, then draw 8 cards. Blood for the Blood God deals 8 damage to each opponent. Exile it. I like that. That seems dope. Um, red and black. Do. It doesn't. There's not enough creatures like dying. Ishin could be highly doubtful though. Kelsey's getting a lot of love right now. I think that has a shot. We'll go with Kelsey. Chaos Defiler. 5/4 Demon Construct Trample. When Chaos Defiler enters the battlefield or dies, for each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of them chosen at random. Enters the battlefield or dies, for each opponent, choose a non-land. That's aight. For each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of them chosen at random. For each player, I like that. It's not something that I can give though. It's not something that I could give. And Beamtown Bullies, it's red black. Do I don't have a lot of red black decks, but it's doing a lot there. For each opponent, destroy a non-land permanent at random. That random part again, I don't really like that, but it is what it is, right? Um, Kenrith can be a reanimate deck, so I guess that has a shot over there, depending on what the removal based is, but probably won't make it in there. Exalted Flame of Teenth. It's 2/4 demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that's fine. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Exalted Flamethrower deals 1 damage to each opponent. All right, so that's either Savine or Calamax, but I got so many goddamn cards for Calamax. I love that deck. Red blue Spell Slinger. I mean, ooh, that could be good in Hinata. I'm not casting a ton of spells, but I like that. We'll go with Hinata. I was looking for a little bit more like repetition. So Chaos Mutation. That's a really good point, Renshai, about like this demon deck that could potentially add a lot of demon choices for your Kalia deck, which could be more demon themed out after this. There's a lot of new demons now. So I like that. Let's see here. Take a quick drink. All right. Chaos Mutation, instant exile any number of target creatures controlled by different players. For each creature exiled this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library. Till they reveal a creature card, put the card onto the battlefield, then put the rest on the bottom. Target creature. So exiling one creature from each, potentially from every player. Then for each creature exiled this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they hit another creature. It's like it's kinda like it's a chaos warp. That's something that Calamax could enjoy. Little bit of chaos. Is this something that Savine wants though? Nah, we'll stick with Calamax. I like that. Take a shot. I'm not taking a shot, Mr. Hockey. You calm down. Nine? I don't know. Equipment. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile up to one target creature. Equipped creature has menace and gets +X/+0, where X is the exiled card's power. Um, so that's not like an attack trigger. Red black. Again, Beamtown doesn't really like this. Yeah, Vigilance Haste. If it had like Trample. All right, we can move on. I'm fine with that. Hellbrute. 5/4 haste, Dreadnought. You may have Hellbrute from your graveyard by exiling another creature card from your graveyard in addition to paying its other cost. Exiling another creature card from your graveyard in addition. I Yeah, nothing I wanna do in any of my decks. It's I kinda was digging these sagas, though. Alright, the Horus Heresy. Alright. First chapter, for each opponent, gain control of up to one target non-legendary creature that player controls for as long as the Horus Heresy remains on the battlefield. Draw a card for each creature you control but don't own. And then starting with you, each player chooses a creature. Destroy each creature chosen this way. 6 mana is maybe a lot for that, but I don't have anywhere to go for that. Kill, maim, burn. Instant. Choose all three, I promise. Destroy an artifact, a creature, and 3 damage to target player. Kinda rough for 5 mana. I don't artifact, a creature. I don't think I have anything for this. Nah, get rid of that. Lucius the Eternal, 5/3 warrior, haste. When Lucius the Eternal dies, exile it and choose target creature an opponent controls. When that creature leaves the battlefield, return Lucius the Eternal from exile to the battlefield under its owner's control. Um, I don't have anything that really cares about that. Yeah. No. Did you delete the take a shot part, Aki? That's fine. Okay. Let's see. Magnus the Red 4/5 demon Primarch. Flying. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature token you control. Whenever Magnus the Red deals combat damage to a player, create a 3/3 red spawn creature token. I dig that a lot. Okay. So it's still like token, spell slinger. Um, this could be something for Calamax, but I don't. It's probably I don't know. For each token you control, that's creature token. Okay, okay. I was gonna say if that off of treasures and clues, are you kidding me? You kidding me? But creature tokens. Um, Calmax might actually like that a bit more. Mutalith Vortex Beast, 6/6 trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each opponent you have. If you win the flip, draw a card. If you lose, deals 3 damage to each player. 6 mana is not bad for that. I don't have any like blinking aspects in red blue. I'm so surprised, right? For Calmax. Red blue, I don't have anything that could utilize that, but that's doing a lot. Yeah, I don't have anything for that. Pink Horror, 4/4 Demon Horror. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcerer spell, it deals 2 damage to any target. Um, when it dies, create 2/2/2 blue. And then whenever this you cast an instant or sorcerer spell, it deals 1 damage to any target. I kinda dig that. That actually might really work in Savine quite well. Because I do wrath aspects and then casting spells, and so I can deal like 2 to 1 damage, and when it gets killed, I get that effect still. Just make a Calmax deck to fit each of these colors. I mean, why even stop at this point? You have 4 color basic landfall. Yeah, yeah, it ain't nothing special. I like landfall, so that's the bonus part of it. Like it's my favorite mechanic. But yeah, it's just a little bit of life game twist in there. I'm pretty sure if you go to our Mox field, you can find it on there. Thanks for joining, Travis, though. Ruinous Powers. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose an opponent at random. Exile the top card of that player's library until end turn. You may play that card. You may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast it. When you cast this spell this way, its owner loses life equal to its mana cost. I dig it. Wait. Okay. For a second there, I thought it was a thumbs up with that emoji, or not a thumbs up, but a fucking middle finger, but it's a thumbs up. Alright. I think it's a cool card. I don't really do stealing decks because we do, like, online play, and that kinda sucks to work with, so I avoid that, but I think it's a cool card for sure. Um, I'm not gonna say that right. Zangor Shaman, 3/3 mutant shaman flying. Whenever the shaman deals combat damage to a player, copy the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn. When you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy. It might be like a waving thumbs up. Oh, okay. So you're doing it because I said hi. All right, I get that. Well, wouldn't you know, this seems like a cool card for Calmax. We'll just slot that right over there. Like anything that says copy a spell, there's a shot there. I like it. All right, getting into the reprints, we'll just run through those real quick. I think I have most of these. So the cool art for Soul Ring is awesome. Talismans work. So having all three there is awesome. I'm really glad that those are there. Warren Power Stone, new art. A new art for everything is awesome. I plan on keeping those to be played with. I like Temple of the False God rarely, but sometimes. Brainstorm, Dark Ritual, Commander Sphere. Probably not. I got a foils of those, and I like shiny things. Wayfarer's Bauble. This one frustrates me because it looks very similar to a card from Visions. It's something trap, I'm sure, but it looks very similar visually to this, and I remember cards visually. So when we're doing like Stump the Smith Savant, I'm trying to picture the card, and then I normally can place it. So this fucks with me. But Command Tower is awesome. Past in Flames, that can work. Decree of Pain is a great one. Like they did a lot of really good reprints in these decks. So Chaos Warp is cool. Reverberate, Warstorm Surge. I thought it was in here. Chromatic Lantern, Exotic Orchard. I mean, we get these in every commander deck that's multicolored, so whatever. But Sunken Hollow, Path of Ancestry. Yep, that is the first deck. Let's run with that. So not too bad. Let's go with the mono black one here. Run through that and maybe help out oh shit. What was his name? Pacific Ocean. He's still here. We'll run through the mono black and then you can check that out. Oh shit. This is the swarm one. We'll go with mono black one. All right, which one is that? That's the mono black one. We'll do that one here. All right. You're gonna get a lot of people pissed at you. Mono black does not suck. I generally look at it as like an artifact themed deck with mono black. It's pretty good. A lot of the cards aren't going to go in places though. So Seraph, the Silent King, 3/4 Necron flying. Whenever the Silent King attacks, mill 3 cards. You may put an artifact, creature card, or vehicle card from among those cards milled this way into your hand. That's an attack trigger. I don't know if it fits into Ishin, but we'll take a look at later. Imhotep, the Swarm Lord, 3/3 Necron. Whenever one or more artifact cards leave your graveyard, create 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target artifact creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains menace until end of turn. Um, Shoot, I wish this was good for Will or for Oscar. That'd be sweet. Do I have? The only thing that could potentially work for this would be like Muldrotha, but I'm not like whenever one or more artifact cards. So there's a little bit there, but I'd have to see it how much artifact recursion happens in Muldrotha. We'll give it a shot. It's too scary. Okay. All right. Flayed one, Necron, 4/1 lifelink. Whenever Flayed one enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. I don't think I have anything for that. Give me a second. All right. Hexmark Destroyer. It's a 6/6. It can't be blocked except by 6 or more creatures. That's kinda cool, but that it if that's kind of it, eh, might be good if you give it, like, Death Touch, but they're just not gonna block it. Just 6/6. Plasmancer, 3/3 flying. When Plasmancer enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic swamp card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. I like that. I don't obviously for non-green decks, but this is something that white kinda does, but at 4 mana or looking for other things. So, Kelsing could maybe use it. Ishin probably doesn't want it. That's a Necron Wizard. It's hard. It's hard. Alright. It's so hard. Sorry. Psychomancer. 1/1 flyer. Whenever Psychomancer or another non-token artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield or is put into exile from the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever it or another non-token artifact you control. So this has flying. I was thinking this potentially could go in Alayla. It's an artifact, so it'll trigger it. It has flying, so it gets +1/+0. And there's enough artifacts in there, it's artifact based, that it has a really good shot of making that one. Sautek, Immortal, 2/2 flash. Whenever it ETBs with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn, there are plenty of cards that are like this, and none of them are very good. They're okay. They're just not played a whole ton. So I don't have any gotchas like this. I'd rather draw cards, stuff like that. um, Scorpek, Destroyer, 4/2 Death Touch. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, this gains first strike until end of turn. I don't care about that. This one, I've been eyeing this one up. I kind of like this one. All right, Triarch Praetorian, 2/1 Necron flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield from a graveyard, you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. This is fantastic in Muldrotha. Has also a shot in Alayla, so I might look at getting another copy, but it's a cool card. All right, Night Scythe, Skivvy, 3/1 vehicle, flying. There's a lot of flying in here. One of the ETBs create a 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature token, 2/2. Uh, could be something in like blinking like Brago, where you're just like able to get a bunch of creatures that way. Maybe. Anrikar, the Traveler, 4/4. Whenever Anrikar attacks, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life equal to its mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. That's a trigger, so it's not an activated ability, so it doesn't work with Varric too bad. It is an attack trigger, but I don't have like a bajillion artifacts in Ishin, either of them. Um, could that work in Alayla? I think there's a lot of Alayla support in this mono black deck because biotransference is going in there, but we'll talk about that later. Um, I mean, I guess that could work. We'll put that in Alayla. All right, biotransference. This is what I was excited for Alayla. Creatures you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you lose 1 life and create a 2/2 Necron Warrior artifact creature token. So every time you cast just a regular artifact, Alayla is going to trigger because of this. So it's pretty dope for Alayla. I did not do any of the tags, but remember to hit the like. If you're new here, subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. We are only 197 away from 1,000, which is a big goal of ours, but we don't know why. No, that's just helps us. Um, Commander Smith is a podcast along with YouTube, so you can listen to us audio wise weekly. We normally put it out on Wednesday. We do various things, a couple of games, and talk. So, water. All right, Chronomancer, 1/1 flyer. There is a lot of flying in here. This is a Layla, just infusion. All right, pay 1, tap, sacrifice another artifact, draw a card. Yeah, I dig that for a Layla big time. All right, Cryptek, 3/3. Pay a black and 1, tap it, choose another target artifact creature you control. When that creature dies this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped under your control. I don't think there's anything. It's too specific. All right, that's fine. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know where that'd go though. Illuminor Ceres, 3/3 Necron. Tap, sacrifice another creature, add an amount of X or black mana equal to the sacrificed creature's mana value. There are already like at least 1 to 2 cards that already do this. I don't use them. I'm not going to use this. Uh, Luck Hust Heavy Destroyer, 3/2 Necron, flying. Whenever it ETBs, each player sacrifices a creature. That's including you. It has on Earth. I That's very expensive. Sorry, each player sacrifices. So if that be, mm, mm, huh? I don't care what that on Earth is really expensive. I don't know if I like that. I keep on looking. I don't know. I don't know if there's a place for that. I don't think there is. That's fine. Lich Guard, 2/3. You can pay 4, sacrifice Lich Guard, return all legendary creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. I kind of like that. Return all legendary creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, I have Sisay is kind of legend based, but not actually a lot. All right, I don't think it works. 5/3 flash. When Necron Deathmark enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target creature and target player mills 3 cards. Probably not. Necron Overlord, 2/5. Pay X, tap it, tap X target, X untapped artifacts you control. Target opponent loses X life. I dig this a lot. Again, for a Layla, because I believe I have like Tezzeret's that kind of do a very similar effect. So we'll stick with that. All right, let's see here. Out of the tombs, this is enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 Eon counters on out of the tombs, then mill cards equal to the number of Eon counters on it. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards on it, instead return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you can't, you lose the game. Eh, I don't know about that. I don't think there's any. I'd have to think about that a little. Huh. Whenever it says you lose the game, that scares me. Royal Warden, 3/2 Necron. Whenever Royal Warden enters the battlefield, create 2 tapped 2/2 black. The ETBs creates 2 creatures. Shard of the Nightbringer. When Shard of the Nightbringer ETBs, if you cast it, target opponent loses half their life rounded up. You gain life equal to life lost this way. Um, this effect is what I was going for in Varric. I don't think anything kind of ended up that way. I like it, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything because of the cast trigger that makes it tough to like reanimate and stuff like that. This one, big boy. I wish it was also a dragon, but Shard of the Void Dragon, 7/7 Catan, flying. Whenever Shard of the Void Dragon attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent attack trigger. So I was thinking Ishin instantly. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield or is put into exile from the battlefield, put 2/1/1 counters on Shard of the Void Dragon. So we're gonna try and put this into Ishin. It's everybody's sacrificing artifact or enchantment or whatever. It's pretty cool. Sorry. All right. Score Peck the Lord 3/2. Menace. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+0 and have menace. I don't have anything that is really that based. So that's true. All right. So Travis is saying that out of the tombs, if you're like going against mill decks, they can't really mill you out until you run out of creatures and stuff like that, right? So that's true. And so, like for mono black or not blue decks, if that's something that you want to sideboard, then that's something you want to sideboard. That's cool. Adam actually took apart Brewvac though, so and it went into the that black and blue horror, like the Captain N word deck that he built. So I don't have to worry about that nearly as much anymore. Technomancer. Whenever it ETBs, mill 3 cards, then return any number of artifact creature cards. Total mana 6 or less. It's a cool card. 7 mana is a lot, and I don't have anything that's artifact creature based. I'm going to stop reading the power toughness as well on creatures just to get going a little bit faster. You can see it. Not worried about it. Their name is Death. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. Um, I dig it in artifact creature decks. It's not bad. Their number is Legion. This one I have a spot for. Sorcery. Create X tapped 2/2 black Necron warrior artifact creature tokens. Then you gain life equal to the number of artifacts you control. Exile. Their name is Legion. You may play it or cast it from your graveyard. So this is a great card in Refine because you're discarding a ton of cards, and I can just cast it whenever I need to late game. So Tomb Blade. Flyer, whenever it deals combat it's a creature. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses life equal to the number of creatures they control unless they sacrifice a creature. Somebody's gonna kind of sacrifice a creature like almost all the time. So eh. uh Trazyn the Infinite, because he know they know it can go infinite. 4/6 Death Touch. As long as Trazyn is in the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. Um, it's a cool card. I don't have a place for it though. Um, yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I could reshift refine around to make this crazy to start discarding artifacts for it, but no need. All right, Triarch Stalker 4/5 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose an opponent. Creatures attacking the last chosen player have menace, so that gives your opponent's creatures menace when they attack and stuff like that. Like I said, I kind of like the ability to give multiple creatures, vanilla abilities. Um, Last player chosen have menace 4/5. It does not have. Neat, neat, neat. Ooh. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. We'll skip it. We're fine. The War in Heaven, 6 mana saga. You draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. 6 mana is a bit much for that. Then you mill 3 cards and choose up to 3 target creature cards with total mana 8 or less in your graveyard. Return each of them to the battlefield with Necroderma's counter on it. They're artifacts. It's not bad. That ain't bad. I don't have any place for it though. Canoptek Scarab Swarm. 1/1 flyer. Whenever it ETBs, exile target player's graveyard for each artifact or land card exile this way. Create a 1/1 colorless insect creature token. I wish it was a horror. Man. I think we'll still try it for Umbra since it is a exiling effect and can give me a lot of creatures. Um, could also work in Muldrotha, just being able to like block, have it die, bring it back, exile, get a bunch more tokens. Also, it could work in Essex, getting a bunch of tokens at once. Actually, that might be what I want anyway. Let's try that in Essex. getting a bunch of tokens and turning those into something much better. Um, yeah, I dig that. Canaptech Spider for 4 flyer. Whenever another non-token artifact, creature, or vehicle enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This has some good potential in Alayla as well. Canoptech Tomb Sentinel. It is a insect with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield from a graveyard, exile up to one target non-land permanent. Again, this could be decent removal in Modrotha. Is there anything else that on Earth for 7? There's a battlefield from a graveyard, which is not Oscar. That would have been awesome for Oscar, but um, we could try that Muldrotha. I don't think we really need it, but that's fine. Canoptic Wraith, 2/1. It can't be blocked, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 3 and sacrifice it. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards with the same name as a land you control. Put them into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. This is just more work than that elk, so probably not gonna work for me. But if you want that effect, I don't think it's bad. So, Convergence of Dominion. 3-mana artifact. As long as you control your commander, activated abilities of cards in your graveyards cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that ability's activation cost to less than 1 mana. I don't know exactly what that means. If anybody want to chimes in and let me know, does that hit like flashback and like on Earth? I'm assuming it's on Earth. That's a good question. Let's go back to what is unearthing a cast from the graveyard? Shit, where is it? Did we already both? All right. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next step. If it would leave the battlefield. Okay, so unearth is not a cast. So that does not help me. But Paul, you're saying that both? What do you mean both? So flashback works. Um Unearth works. I'll have to check out, but it works for both. I kind of already have. Does it work in Muldrotha? I don't think so. Because it's not giving any abilities, it's just allowing me to cast. Um I I think it's a really cool card. I just don't know. I'd have to look into more what that all affects. So, but I don't have enough flashback in Savine to make it work. So I know that, but I think it's an interesting card. Crypto Thrall. 3/3. Other artifact creatures you control have hexproof. Artifact creatures, meh. I don't have a deck center around it. I'm probably not gonna work with that. Ghost Arc. 3/3. Vehicle. Flying. Whenever it becomes crewed, each artifact creature card in your graveyard gains unearth 3 until end of turn. That'd be dope. That'd be good. I like that. Necron Monolith. So, okay, this since it works with um on Earth, the like Cedrus the Traitor King, that would work there. That works in that. They just made what was that? The Modern Masters. They just did that in there. So all right, Necron Monolith, 7/7 flying indestructible vehicle. Whenever Necron Monolith attacks, mill 3 cards. For each creature milled this way, create a 2/2 black Necron. I'm not running vehicles in Ishin, so I don't have not a big fan of vehicles. Um, Resurrection Orb, 2 mana. Equipped creature has life link, so it's equipment. Whenever equipped creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end untap step. Um, I like that. There's a couple effects that are like that. Where does this work? Um, I mean, if there's anything that really works with, where it just kind of allows it to be out. Do I have anything that cheat like equipment around? I don't think so. Z. I think it's cool. I don't have a place to put it at this point. All right, Scepter of Eternal Glory. Add 1 mana of any color. Add 3 mana of any one color. Activate only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. So this should be in 1 or 2 color decks. I don't have any 1 color decks. I might push this into Varric because I oftentimes get a lot of basics in that landfall style deck. So we'll try it in Varric. That could be cool. Tomb Fortress enters the battlefield tapped. So there's a land. It creates a black, and then you can pay 5, tap it, exile Tomb Fortress, mill 4 cards, and return a creature card back from the graveyard to the battlefield. Activate it as a sorcery. Um, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. 5 mana. I don't hate it. That that might really work well in Beamtown Bullies because then I can mill 4, potentially get one of those big guys into my graveyard, but there are some that are really bad that I don't wanna bring up, and then there are some that are really good that I can just bring into play. Um, Man, if there's just 1 life, I'd definitely put it in Barrack. I think I think there's a shot there. I like that. We'll try it for Beamtown. And we're getting into reprints here. Cranial Planing, great card. I have that in Alayla already. Hedron Archive, I really like it. Don't have it anywhere. Mask of Memories already in Glen. Don't need it anywhere else. Soul Ring, Reliquary Tower, Darkness. I don't need that anywhere. Go for the Throat is good. Removal, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere. I like all the different arts for that. Mind Stone, that is a favorite of mine. Lot Vessel, yeah, Wayfarer's Bauble for sure. Beacon of Unrest is not a bad one. It's kind of low powered at this point, but it's good. I like it. Living Death is a big swing, especially if you're setting it up in your deck. Mutilate is just I'm not a big fan of it. Cage Sun, I have handfuls of those. Really good in monocolor decks. Endless Atlas, I haven't used since a monocolor deck, which would be like Oketra from War of the Spark. Yellow Lotus is dope. That's a really good reprint there. Mystic Forge is a great reprint. Sculpting Steel, that's a solid in those artifact decks. All right. Let's see here. Not too bad. I thought there was a lot of cards that went into a Layla there. So I dig that. I like it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's do with the Beastie. All right. We're half done with decks. Let's see here. Let's go through the reprints real quick from the let's switch this up. From the red, green, blue. Let's see here. All right. So good reprints here. Aetherize is very playable. Inspiring Call I have in 2 or 3 decks. Breed for the Hunt is solid. I've never played it. Hull Breach is an old favorite of mine. I like that. Herald's Horn is a great reprint. Soul Ring. Ash Barrens, that's a great card. Frontier Bouviac. Cultivate, obviously. Explore. I don't think a lot of people like Explore, but I've always kind of liked it. It's a nice little cantrip for green. Farseek, great card. Harrow, great card in Omnath. New Horizons and Overgrowth are great for Enchantress decks. Rampant Growth, great. Signet, Command Tower, Starstorm, solid. Abundance, yeah. Death's Presence, one's kind of expensive for me, but Hardened Scales is a really good reprint as well. Icon of Ancestry, solid. Nothing amazing, but solid. And I like the lands. I didn't hate the lands. I like temples. I know nobody else does, but I like temples. So does Adam. We're just on that bit. All right, let's go with these. Is Dark Horizon around? Tell me how to say this. Tyrannid? Tyrannid? All right, the Swarm Lord, 5 mana. The Swarm Lord enters the battlefield with 2/1/1 counters on it for each creature for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. And then Tyrannid. Tyrannid. Okay. Tyrannid. Thank you, Paul. So 2/1/1 counters on it each time you've cast your commander this turn, this game, and then whenever a creature you control with counters on it die, draw a card. I love that. Um, I do not have a teamer deck currently, so this will not go in any decks. This one is another one that pulls me that I kind of want to build with. Um, so it's Magus Lucia Kane. It's 1/1, but at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then you can tap it, add 2 colorless when you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost or activate an ability with X in its activation cost this turn. Copy that spell or ability. You may copy the new targets for this copy. Now, I like this. I built a Roshin Meander deck, and it was baller. It was slow as shit, but it was baller. Yeah, yeah, I like this new addition for the X tribal decks. So I dig it quite a bit. This might be something that I build, but I have at least 2 more videos in the works. All right. Gen Stealer Locus, 3/3 Tyrannid Human. Yeah, that feels good. Tyrannid. All right. Whenever a creature attacks you, it gets -1/-0, and whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents, they get +0/+1. And so Brad, this is a cool card. I dig it. It's not something I'm gonna play, but I dig it. Acolyte Hybrid 2/2 Tyrannid Human. Whenever Acolyte Hybrid attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If an artifact is destroyed this way, its controller draws a card. Man, them drawing a card is brutal. It's an attack trigger, so let's see if something like that can work in Ishin. But the attack trigger is brutal. I don't think I'm super interested in that. Let's see here. All right. Aberrant. I like the Ravenous bit. So whenever you pay more than 5 for the X spell, you get to draw a card. Pretty fun. The Tyranid deck as a whole is pretty fun together. Very cool. So Ravenous, I'll just say that I'm not gonna read all the way through it from now on. But if X is 5 or more, you get to draw a card when it ETBs. But it's has trample. Whenever Aberrant deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Ooh. Um, maybe what I do is I might save a lot of these Ravenous spells. Just so if there's anything that seems really crazy and works really well, I'll put it into the deck. But I don't think I have anything that really supports +1/+1 counters at this point. But I like that bit. So Pure Strain Gen Stealer. Oh, Gene Stealer. Jenna? Alright. 1/1 Tyrannid. Whenever it ETBs with 2/1/1 counters on it, and then whenever it attacks, you may remove a 1/1 counter from it. If you do, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. I dig it. I like that. There's that Wolf Gear guy from D&D, the original D&D set, which doubles attack triggers for green and red cards. I'd say this goes in there, in my opinion. I It's gonna be better in, like, a proliferate or +1/+1 counter deck, and I think I'd be forcing it anywhere else. Tyrannid Invasion. Create a number of 3/3 green Tyrannid warrior creature tokens with trample equal to the number of opponents you have. Yeah, Wolf Gear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you how much do you like that, Paul? And have you seen other Ishin decks? Like, are they playing very similar style-wise, but, like, obviously different cards because a lack of black and white versus green. But, Tyranid Invasion has a chance in Essex, but I don't think so. There's more efficient cards for 4 mana that do very similar things. Trigon Prime, 4/4. Whenever Trigon Prime attacks, it gets +1/+1 counter on it, and a 1/1 counter on up to one other target attacking creature. That creature can't be blocked this turn. I like it a lot, but I haven't played against Ishin much. Okay, so you like Ulfgar. Like, if I didn't think much about Wolfgar, but now that I've built Ishin, I'm like, "Holy crap." I love Ishin quite a bit, and I kinda wish that I gave Wolfgar, like, a chance because now I'm seeing all these green cards with the attack triggers, and I'm like, "Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome." So, I'm glad you like it because I think that's really cool. I don't have anything that would need, like, unblockability. Like Calmax, but I have enough tricks there. That's, alright. Venom Thrope, 2/2 flying death touch hexproof. I love these keyword soups, but there isn't anything that I would like it for. So we'll skip on that. Goliath Truck vehicle. Whenever it attacks, put 2/1/1 counters on another target attacking creature. Um, it's too slow for Ishin, I'd say. Like, I'm either trying to deal damage with the attack or making tokens, so it's not really working there, or being defensive. So, um, for people that play, Warhammer, how did the theme of these decks really go for you? Did they work out? I hope, but the cards, they did a really good job on just, like, magic cards. So, Gene Stealer Patriarch, 4/4 Tyrannid. Whenever, the Patriarch attacks, put an infection counter on target creature defending player controls. Whenever a creature with an infection counter on it dies, you create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a Tyrannid in addition to its other types. I don't know if I like that they're using the word infection because that means something very different for us. Um, but I can dig it. That's kind of cool. I like making tokens. Themes were actually great. Black Horizon saying that, and you were anticipating a train wreck, but it was pretty great. Yeah, the deck seemed really well put together. So it's like, if it's good for Warhammer and it's good for Magic, and then it's a great product. There isn't anything to be mad about. So high five, Wizards, great job. I don't have any place that this could work. Target creature defending player controls. All right. Exocrine, I think I like this one. 2/2. It has Ravenous. So, and then when it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to each player and each other creature. What was I thinking? I think this could work nicely in Savine because I'm doing like a surround damage type thing with like Stuffy Doll, Boros, Reckoner there, and stuff like that. All right. The Red Terror 4/3 Tyrannid. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents and or players, put a 1/1 counter on the Red Terror. This could be great in a, what's that red? Oh, Bane. Okay, yeah, it seems cool, but what is this that what's that dwarf from, Throne of Eldraine? No, it's not, Paul, stop it. It's not great in Urabrask. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents and or players, put a 1/1 counter on the red tower. Jesus. S you guys, get off Paul's side. You can stand in the middle. You don't have to be on my side. Just come on. Let's be serious here. I think this can be really good in that dwarf from Throne of Eldraine, where um God, what's his name? He's like 3 red, 1 colorless, 3 4. It's cool. It's a cool card. That could work here. It could also potentially Torbrand. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Much better than our Brask in this situation. This would be a good commander. Oh, that is a legendary creature. I kinda missed that part. There's an unlimited amount of red cards that just ping stuff. This is so fun. Yeah, totally agree. This could work in like Niv-Mizzet decks. Like it just gets tall. Think about it. If I could get it indestructible with the red terror in this kind of deck, this is a blasphemous act type deck. Blasphemous act deals, 13 damage to every creature. And so you put a 1/1 counter on that for because it's source. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents. Oh, no, no. Okay, calm down. So it's once per instance of doing it. So it's cool. All right, not as good. I was gonna slide it under Savine, but I don't have any pinging decks that would maybe want it. Kelsey might like that. Kelsey might like it. It kind of pings there. There's some pinging. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I have the hey, Renshai, calm down. There's a lot of little nuance here that I know that you like reading. I was gonna be a dick there. I'm sorry. I apologize. Stump the Renshai Savant right there. Screamer Killer. 5/5 Tyrannid Trample. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 5 or greater, it deals 5 damage to any target. 5 uh, mana value 5. That's a lot. Creature spell. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Screamer Killer. So I wish that just said spell, because then it would be really cool in Hinata, but um not anywhere currently for that. Biophagus, 1/3 human Tyrannid wizard. Taps, add 1 mana of any color. If this mana is spent to cast a creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. I dig this card. Of any color. This card is pretty good. I don't know. I like it. I just don't know. I don't have a deck for it, but I like that a lot. I like that a lot. All right, Bone Sabers, 3 mana equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put 4/1/1 counters on it. Probably another good one for Wolfgar. Equipped for 3, and so on in a Wolfgar deck, that should put 8/1/1 counters on that creature. That's baller. That's baller. That's real aggressive. Um, okay. Well, I mean, is there any aggressive green decks that I have that are like equipment based? I mean, Calamax has the 1/1 counters on it that kind of matter, but that's not the deck to go into. All right. Brood Lord. It has Ravenous 3/3. Whenever ETBs distribute X 1/1 counters among any number of other target creatures you control. This is good for like +1/+1 counter decks, which I don't currently have. Clamavis, 3/3. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each 1/1 counter on it. Again, great for +1/+1 counter decks. I don't have that, but seems pretty cool. 5 mana might be a little much, but Harrisbucks. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then you can tap it, remove X 1/1 counters from Harrisbucks, add X mana of any one color. Not a huge fan of removing the counters, but I can dig it. I'm fine with it. Hierophant Bio-Titaned. Tyrannid 12/12. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you remove any number of 1/1 counters from among creatures you control. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each counter removed this way. Vigilance, Reach, or 2 can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. That's a big boy. That's a big one. Again, don't really have anything for it though. That's fine. So this one's probably just a huge, like, 40k model. That's kinda funny. So, yeah, I can believe it. Huge. Uh, Hormigaunt Horde. This has Ravenous, it's 1/1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 3. If you do, return it from the graveyard to your hand. Um, it's not really a landfall, but it is a landfall, but 3 mana is not something I'm gonna be doing. It's I Lictor 3/3 Tyranid Flash. When it ETBs, if a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, create a 3/3 creature token with trample. Eh, eh, eh. Nexos. Uh 2/2 Human Tyranid Advisor. Basic lands you control have tap, add 2 colorless, spend this mana only to cast that mana only to on costs that contain X. Okay, there we go. Ugh, there we go. I dig it, just not for any decks that I have. Old One Eye. There we go. Legendary creatures, 6/6 Tyrannid, trample. Other creatures you control have trample. When Old One Eye enters the battlefield, create a 5/5 green Tyrannid creature token. And then at the beginning of your pre combat main phase, you may discard 2 cards. If you do, return it from your graveyard to your hand. This kind of reminds me of like, what is it, Thragtusk? A little bit? So many soul rings. Yeah, that's true. So many soul rings in these. We already okay. Old One Eye is dope. I like it, but maybe just for the name. It's a penis. Uh Sporocyst. This one I like this one quite a bit, but it has Ravenous, Defender, and then when Sporocyst enters the battlefield, search your library for up to X basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. So no matter what, like you pay 3 mana, it comes into play as a 1/1 and goes and gets you a basic land. So this is Farhaven Elf with upside. So I like it quite a bit. It doesn't work with like Essex though. Like ETB effects, you need that X to be cast. So it's kind of working around that bit. Could work in Muldroth. I don't really need much more in that though. um Let's see here. I don't know. I do want to play this one though somewhere. I don't. Let's put this in Beamtown Bullies just to just to do some potential ramp. Sometimes I get to a point where it's like, oh, I got a ton of ramp, but it's kind of like a wonky deck, but it works. So sometimes just something that can go off could be nice. Termagant Swarm. Ravenous. So it's creature. And then whenever it dies, create a number of 1/1 green Tyranid creatures tokens equal to its power. I dig it. I dig it. I like this one too. This would be great in Essex if I had any like sack outlets and stuff like that. I don't think this fits anywhere, but it's a dope card. I like this deck, I think. All right. Let's see here. Uh Turvagon has Ravenous creature, has trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green Tyrannid creature tokens. Again, pretty cool in Essex, but it's not really the style that I'm doing. Um I don't think I have any place that really works. Omnath could use it sometimes with like all that extra mana that happens, but I don't know what to do with it. Toxicrene, 2/4 reach death touch. All lands have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all other abilities. So this screws fetches, right? So this screws me. Is there anything like tap, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all other abilities? So this could be something that I might like in Kenrith. Um, because then like just controlling to make sure taking the Tyranid deck and upgrading it to mono green counters and tokens would be fun. Potentially. I mean, the red seems really good in there too. I don't know about the blue so much. It doesn't seem like there's too much support for it at the blue spot, but red and green definitely could be nice. Let's put Toxicrene in Kenrith and see if there's any place for that later on. You like it for Dawson? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With that reach, that's pretty nice there. Um, it's a good hate card if you're playing against people with a lot of people with like fetches or doing some crazy shit. But since I am fetches, I kind of don't like it against me. So you got to find a good spot for it. I'm pretty basic heavy in Kenrith, so it might not be as bad there. We'll see. Tyrant Guard, 3/3 Tyranid. It has Ravenous, and then sacrifice Tyrant Guard. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Um, Creatures with counters on them. Again, it might be all right in Calmax. Calmax oftentimes have counters on them. Let's see. But generally, there's just like I have better protection in there. I have solid. Attalon Jackal, 2/2, trample haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. It's multicolored, and Renee really likes it because I can be really aggressive, and if they choose to block it, it's going to come back to my hand the next turn, and it has haste. If not, I get a basic land, so I like it there quite a bit. Jackal, true, true. All right, Death Leaper Terror Weapon. 3/3 Tyrannid Flash Haste. Creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn have double strike. Is this just like a bad card? It's a bad card, right? Unless all of your creatures also have haste, but it only affects creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think I like that anywhere. The first Tyrannic War by Mana Saga. First chapter, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield if its mana cost contains X and enters with 1/1 counters on it equal to your land. That's pretty good. Double the number of counters of each kind of counter on target creature you control, and you get to do that on second and third chapter. That seems really good and like a +1/+1 counter deck. I dig that. Gargoyle Flock is a 2/2 flyer, Tyrannid Gargoyle. Uh yeah, yeah. I agree, Black Horizon. The saga seemed really cool. I'm not a huge saga fan. Like I don't use them very often or if at all. Um they remind me of ultimatums. I gotcha. Interesting concept there. I mean, I'll have to play with them if they fit into a deck, like highly consider them because they do seem powerful enough. It's 2/2 flyer at the beginning of your gargoyle flock. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature enter the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 1/1 blue Tyranid creature token with flying. Like that doesn't quite work for Essex. It doesn't really work for Muldrotha. Um, at the beginning of your end step. If this was like every end step, I'd be a bit more, but I don't think that fits anywhere for me. All right. Gearson Starn Kellermorph, 3/2 Tyrannid Humid or 2. And then whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, Gearson Starn deals 2 damage to that permanent or player. I know number 2 is probably gonna build this. I don't have anything that's going to be able to do that in red blue, but fantastic in Niv-Mizzet decks for sure. Malanthrope, 2/2 flyer. When Malanthrope enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on it for each creature card exiled this way. Um, I don't think there's anything that this is the one that I'm probably using the least amount of cards. Like, it doesn't fit any of my themes. They're not general like enough, which is fine. I like that they went deep into themes. So I like this deck. It's just not helping me at this current rate. um, you talking? Nope. Da-da-da-da-da. Are you Paul? Are you talking about Gargoyle Flock? Okay, in Essex. It's a little slow for Essex. Like, it's fine if you're building a lot more like casual pace, but generally I want like 3 plus tokens coming into play, like 1 turn. So, like, that's just kinda slow. But I wouldn't fault you if you wanted to put it in Essex. So, alright, Maulock, it's 2/2, has Ravenous. So, when it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. I dig this card. If I still had my, yeah, getting rid of the graveyards is cool. So if I still had my Naeth deck around, I'd probably try and see if I could fit that in here. I don't really have anything that this works, but a 2/2 for 2 that fights and exiles. Oh, actually, not bad in Rian. I dig that quite a bit. Actually, really good in Rian. Because Rian, like, I fight something of equal power, this dies, comes back into my hand, I can just that's repeatable removal. I dig that quite a bit. Ravenger, it's Flash, it has Ravenous, and then whenever, oh, Ravener enters the battlefield, target creature attacks target opponent this turn if able. I don't think you could just play like green blue, force a creature to attack. That's kind of cool, but I don't have anything that really cares about that. Shadow of the Warp. This one's a really good card, and I think I saw it at like $10 on Card Kingdom. So I was like, nope, not buying a second copy of that. But the first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast, and whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, it deals 2 damage to that player. It's doing a lot of work. It's going somewhere. Could go in Rian. Could go in Beamtown. What else? What else works? I don't think it's really a Calmax deck. Red green. Are those my choices right now? Those are my choices. I think I'm gonna try and fit that into Rian as well. Rian's getting some good juicy cards lately. Last since like New Capenna, I've been pretty happy. Tyrannid Harridan, 4/4 flying ward 4. Whenever a Tyrannid Harridan or another Tyrannid you control deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 blue Tyrannid Gargoyle creature token with flying. I don't have anything for that. You have to be in Tyrannid pretty heavy. Tyrannid Prime, I think this was another one that I liked, but it has Evolve, and then other creatures you control have Evolve. This seems really, really cool. I don't think I have any deck for it, but I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I don't really have a place for it. I like this card though. Probably speckable. Um, Winged Hive Tyrant. I mean, it's not going to go huge, but I can see this becoming like a $2-3 card. So, just a thought. Winged Hive Tyrant. 4/4 flying haste. Other creatures you control with counters on them have flying and haste. Again, I don't have anything that's really gonna work with that. That's probably solid though. Last card, Zoanthrope for this deck. Has Ravenous, flying ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target. Um, I don't think I have anything that's really gonna like this. One target, so it's not gonna be in Hinata. It's not gonna work in Savine. That's it. All right. One more deck. I think this is going to be my favorite deck. All right. looks like we're probably it's gonna go beyond an hour and a half because we are beyond a hour and a half. But that's okay. All right, let's go through the reprints real quick. Swords of Plowshare is great. Reconnaissance Mission, Mortify, Mind Stone, Skull Clamp, Soul Ring, Talisman, Arcane Sanctum, Ash Barrens, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere, Command Tower, Path of Ancestry, Bastion Protector, Collective Effort, Deploy the Front, Entrapment Maneuver, Fell the Mighty, which I have in, Feather because it targets. Hour of Reckoning is good in token decks. Launch the Fleet is good in Hinata. Martial Coup was a staple versus card, which I'm pretty sure I got beat. Utter End is solid removal. I've kind of gone cheaper at this point, but it's okay. Overflowing Chalice, solid. Choked Estuary, Darkwater Catacomb, Exotic Orchard, Port Town, just land. All right. So not bad on the reprints. Like a lot of usable cards. Um, let's see here. Let me get a drink. Has there ever been a precon? All right, Brad's asking, has there ever been a precon that I thought was decent out of the box? All right, so my problem is that I like to deconstruct and do this kind of thing. Like I'm excited to get cards for decks that I already have. And oftentimes if I'm playing it out of the box, it's against other decks that are out of the box. And so it's a little hard to gauge like the power level, like if it works within the play group or anything. But I think most decks now they do a good job of having them be out of the box. When they started Commander, they generally built around like the main face one, but also added in cards for the other two commanders. And so it kind of made decks a little disjointed. And that's not a bad thing because it was covering a lot of ideas. And so as like building material, they did a really good job. Now they've become more focused and more like better out of the box, and like they just kind of work more cohesive. And so they're all right. Like I don't have any problem with precon decks. They're just generally not where I want it to be. So, um, so Paul's looking like he wants to get the Esper one. A lot of good ones, but you're the same way. Yeah, it's they don't really make bad precons. Generally, there's at least solid value, really good new cards. And so I generally avoid the like standard set precon commander decks. They don't have enough in there for me, but I'll bet you they're smooth. Like I don't have a problem with them. I would say out of these four, the Grixis one, the red, black, blue one is the worst because it's random. There's random like effects in there. They put in worse reprints in there. Um, and it doesn't seem like it seems okay, but I don't like random. That generally, yeah. Sahili, I remember being that was busted when we were doing that against all the other decks. That one came out and just blitzed. Because I was playing the one where Kestia came from, but it was like the Planeswalker. Oof. Oh, that one was brutal. All right. Inquisitor Greyfax, 3/3 human Inquisitor, vigilance. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance. And then you can pay one, tap it, tap target creature an opponent controls, and investigate. So I like this card. I don't I have two Esper decks with Rafine and Alayla. But this doesn't really fit in them other than like they're both go wide decks. So the +1/+0 is nice. But I think everything else doesn't really work. Like, the problem is that blue doesn't need to investigate. They should not be putting it into blue decks, really. But they do. So, whatever. uh, Marnius Calgar. Oh, this one's Astartes. Warrior, 3/5 double strike. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Whew, that's good. Create 2/2 white warrior creature tokens with vigilance. Um, I'm gonna try and get this into a Layla. So again, a Layla and Refine are potentially going to get a lot of love in this, but good. And they shall know no fear. That is a great card as well. Choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Layla. That's kind of fairy tribal by accident, and it's gonna be good. Grey Knight Paragon. 4/4 flash. Whenever Grey Knight Paragon enters the battlefield, destroy target attacking creature. If that creature is demon, exile it instead. Um, Not really for me. That's expensive. Space Marine Scout. Oh, this is gonna have the other stuff. Oh, I'm excited about this deck. I like this one a lot. Um, First strike, vigilance 2/1. When Space Marine Scout enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a plains card, put it in the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Plains card states it's not saying a basic plains card, so you can go and get a duel with this as long as you're behind on land. This is quite a good card. Very similar to Knight of the White Orchid, only it's 3 mana versus 2 white. But I like the vigilance on it, the first strike. It puts it up there with White of the Night Orchid in my opinion. Where can this go? I do not know. It can probably go in any white deck. This is something I don't know where its price is at, but I plan on if it's under a buck, I'm gonna get like 6 of them. 6 or 8 of them. It doesn't matter where this really goes. Let's see. I think we put that in feather to just slow down some aggression. Oh, actually, oh no, no. I was gonna say Kestia, but I want protection on my little guys. Um, yeah, that makes the most sense to me. It could go on. Yeah, it could go kind of anywhere. I like that card quite a bit. All right, let's see here. All right, Thunderwolf Cavalry. 4/4 first strike. Whenever Thunderwolf Cavalry deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Um, I'm whatever. It's probably good on a like a go wide, but eh, eh. All right, Squad. I'm excited about Squad. So, uh, Sicarian Infiltrator. It's a 1/2 flash, Squad 2. So, whenever I say Squad, it is an additional cost to cast its kicker, and you may pay 2 any number of times, multi-kicker, and then whenever this creature enters the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it. Yeah, Squad is real good. But, whenever Sicarian Infiltrator enters the battlefield, draw a card. Uh, and what I really like Squad for is Essex because it's bringing those creatures into play, and they're already potentially copies, but they can just enter as anything. It just kind of depends on what your man is doing. So I'm happy about Squad. Uh, Sanguine Priest, 2/4 cleric lifelink. Whenever another creature you control dies, Sanguine Priest deals 1 damage to any target. If you're in the Blood Artist deck, that might work. I do not have that. Oh, I like that actually, though. The 1 damage gains you life because of the life link, and it's a solid blocker. Could be a cleric deck. I haven't built a cleric deck. Another creature you control dies, so it has to be what you control. I mean, this could go. Yeah, it can ping creatures. Any target is nice. That's true. It's pretty versatile. I like that. Um, could be something in like a Shadowborn Apostle deck because it is a cleric too. And then you're sacrificing 5. Ping, 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 ping. Um, I don't know. I could. I don't have creatures that I want to have die. I think that's where it probably shines, is where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be willing to sacrifice X amount of creatures and get the pings, but I don't have anything that really works for. Deny the Witch is an instant. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Its controller loses life equal to the number of creatures you control. Ooh, ooh, that could be Refine or Alayla because they're both kind of go wide decks. It's 4 mana counterspell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Ugh, I generally kind of tap out. I'm not really an instant player. I just play threats and permanents. I don't know. Let's let's see if that works into to refine or anything. All right. Primaris Chaplain, 3/3 cleric, battle cry, which is dope. But whenever it attacks, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Oh, Ishin is double indestructible. But the battle cry would trigger twice. Um, but I don't think I really care about that in either of those decks. All right. Celestine, the Living Saint, 3/4 flying lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. This is doing work. Work, work, work. I think this I gain life in Omnath, and I gain life in Kenrith, and I gain life in Varric. Varric is a little bit more vampire-ish. Omnath, I can already reanimate with Kenrith, which isn't a total problem. So this could go in Omnath, but I have a feeling that won't work. The Defenders of Humanity. When Defenders of Humanity enter the battlefield, create X/2/2 warrior creature tokens with vigilance. I dig that. And then if you don't have any creatures, you can sacrifice it and do the same cost of white, 2 colorless, and an X. I like this a lot. It's a good recovery type card. It works with tokens. It kind of gets me an army. Um they have vigilance. That's about it. I don't hate it. So like it works. I don't know. Maybe Glenn. Maybe Glenn. We could try that in Glenn. Nah, it's not really a token deck though. Maybe yeah, let's go Oscar. Oscar can ramp a little bit, but not have a lot of creatures. We'll see. We'll see. For the Emperor, creatures you can. It's a sorcery. Creatures you control get +2/+2, gain vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. I like that too. I mean, like I think there's some finishers in white already, but that lifelink is pretty solid. Um, I'll see if Rafine likes that. Like it's a go wide deck. It's not Ishin's not really looking to pump. Um, yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me. Space Marine Devastator Squad 2. When Space Marine Devastator enters the battlefield, destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment. Wowie. Um, for 6 mana, you get 2/3/3s that destroy artifact or enchantment. Yeah, this card seems good. Okay, I would say this is solid in a blanking deck. Anything that's kind of doing that thing, anything that you can generate a ton of mana in. Um, it is just a creature. Let's see here. Um, I kind of like. I might like it in Will the Wise? Question mark. Um, Artifacts or enchantments. I was looking for. Let's see here. Hmm. Just a bit more. I think Will the Wise might be able to use it the best. I'd have to see how much actually gets in there, but like there's some big mana spells in there that can go off. Triumph of Saint Catherine. All right. Yeah, and so Black Horizon's saying that enchantment artifact destruction thing with squad is really good. So Triumph of Saint Catherine. 5/5 lifelink creature. When Triumph of St. Catherine dies, exile it and up to 6 cards in your library in a face down. Wait, hold on. The top 6 cards of your library in a face down pile. If you do, shuffle that pile and put it back on top of your library. Miracle 2. Yeah, I'm not really playing off the top of anything, am I? Um, I just like to draw a lot of cards. So Miracle's not the best. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that one. Ultramarine, which is what Paul is. Honor Guard, 2/2. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Squad 2. This seems crazy good as I don't know, right? Right? That's going wide. Um, I might put this in Varric. No, no, I don't know where to put this one. Squads are cool, but I don't know where the fuck to put these. Um, Has to cast this spell, so it's kinda like a going wide card. I'm okay with Rafine. Let's try that in Rafine. Alright. Anthem that scale seems really good. Squad seems really pushed. It's higher mana though, so I'm okay with that. Alright. Vexilus Praetor. 3/4 flash vigilance. Commanders you control have protection from everything. That's even you. So that is the part that's kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I like that. Yeah, yeah, really good in mono white, but like you can't put those or equipments on it. You can't do instants or sorceries. Like it's awful in feather. It's not good in Kestia. Might be all right in Angel, but doesn't really fit the theme. Hinata might like it, but then I can't target it. Refine has a little bit of protection there already. Have protection from everything. So like Kenrith couldn't even put like 1/1 counters on himself. Like that's problematic. Oscar might like it. Yeah, let's try that in Oscar. He's more of a like using the ability type thing. Anyway, I hint. Okay, so Renshai, he's you're thinking that that could be good in Hinata, but Hinata can like have things targeted. Like the spells, I want to be able to like ping a bunch of stuff of my own stuff. Um, but maybe it doesn't matter about Hinata. Hinata's gonna be different. Like, I'm not entirely sure which direction that was gonna go. Like, I put it into a defender mode, played it, and I'm just like, this ain't good either." So, I'm not liking where it's at right now for the second time, but I still really like a lot of the cards in Hinata. So, um, alright. Zephyrim? Alright. The brutal Hinata deck. I try to convince everyone to kill first, or at least Hinata. Yeah, if you can control Hinata, you're doing pretty good. Um Hinata can be really, really powerful. I'm trying to do something like the first time I tried to do like the Theros, like targeting your creature type stuff, and that didn't work. And then I tried to move over to Defender and like pumping Hinata, and that doesn't really work either. Yeah, I still have Oscar. Oscar's bomb. Zephyrim, 3/3 Squad 2, Flying Vigilance, Miracle 2. Seems good. Just not really in anything that I'm gonna do. Sister of Silence, 3/3 Flash, Human Knight. When Sister of Silence enters the battlefield, counter target instant sorcery or instant spell, sorcery spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. I'm not really keen on counter spells. I know a lot of people are. Might be all right. I don't know. Vanguard Suppressor, 3/2 Squad 2, rocks. Flying, whenever Vanguard Suppressor deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Again, this is something that I was like saw and was like, "Oh, I want to try that in Essex. I want to see if that fits somewhere in there." Drawing a ton of cards is awesome. Acro flatulence? I don't know. All right, 3/1 squad, 2 Arco Flagellants can't block, and then you can pay 3 life, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Um, it's a lot of life paying. I don't think there's anything that I really like that in. Um, yeah, nah, next. All right. Primaris Eliminator 3/2 Warrior. When an ETBs, choose one. Destroy target creature or creatures target player control get -2 until end of turn. 5 mana probably keeps this out of like it might be all right to like replay it in Muldrotha, but there's just like cheaper cards to be able to do in that. Drawing cards is dumb. Just played. I'm not playing tutors. Not doing that. Um, well, I don't need it anymore. Assault Intercessor. 3 mana for 3/2 first strike menace. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life, which is perfectly on theme for Kelsian. That's perfect in there. Hacking a little bit, sorry. Um, Balestrious Call. Yeah, I agree. This guy right here, Assault Intercessor, is seems real good. Belisarius Call, 4 mana, 2/4 human. You can tap it and tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Create a 2/2 white warrior creature token with vigilance. And then you can tap it and tap X untapped creatures you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among those and put it in your hand. Um, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so this is one deck that I've been thinking about is the blue white vehicles deck that came out during Kamigawa, and there's that 8/8 vehicle for 4. I kind of want to make like a deck around that. I think Cole in our group made that. I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but I think that could be a really cool like untap artifact deck, and this could work in there. I don't think I have it could be a Layla. Maybe let's just put it in there, but I don't think it's gonna work there. Birth of the Imperium. 5 mana saga. Create a 2/2 white or first chapter, create a 2/2 white warrior creature token with vigilance for each opponent you have. So 2 to 3 creatures. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Draw 2 cards for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. Yeah, that seems like a house. That seems like a house. Where could that go? Maybe refine, because that gives me 3 creatures, each opponent sacrifices something, and I'm more than likely gonna draw a couple cards off that. That has a good shot there in refine. Calidus Assassin. 3/3, 6 mana flash. You may have Calidus Assassin. Saga with Hex Parasite is yeah, yep. I did a curated on that with sagas and stuff like that. So Hex Parasite is good. It's good. You may have Calidus Assassin enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has when this creature enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 other target creature. That's 6 mana destroy stuff. That's kind of rough. If you can bring it back and forth, could be all right, but I don't really have a deck for it, I don't think. All right. Commissar Severina Rain. This card's crazy in Ishin. That's going there. But it's 3 mana, 2/2. Whenever a commissaire attacks, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. Then you can pay 2, sacrifice another creature. You gain 2 life and draw a card. This card is crazy. This card's crazy good, folks. It's good. Sorry about that bump. Company Commander. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. So ETBs makes a bunch of tokens, 2/4. Whenever company commander attacks. Creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. Doesn't quite. Me. I don't really have any ETBs going on there. Oh, you want to play the Commissaire, Paul? Uh, yeah, it's definitely a finisher in Ishin. The Commissaire it seems really, really good. Cybernetic Data Smith. Hey, we're cousins. Um, 3 mana, 0/1, protection from robots. You can pay a blue, tap it. Target player draws a card. Another target player creates a 4/4 colorless robot artifact creature token with this creature can't block. Um, I like this kind of thing, like where you're just giving people creatures. I just don't have anything where this goes, which is a bummer. Yeah, I don't have anywhere where that's gonna go. Um, Epistolary Librarian. All right, 3/4 creature. Whenever the librarian attacks, you may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Would have been great in Ishin. I'm sure they made it blue white for that reason, so it doesn't work like that. um, that could work in Rafine. That's an aggressive deck. Yeah, let's see if that works in there. Casting spells. Yeah, oftentimes I get a bit bogged down in there. Exterminatus? Non-land permanents your opponents control lose indestructible until end of turn. Destroy all non-land permanents. 7 mana is a lot for a Wrath. The flesh is weak. Whenever it enters the battlefield, it's an enchantment. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, which I dig. Creatures you control with 1/1 counters on them are artifacts in addition to their other types. Non-artifact creatures get -1/-1. When I first saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty solid for a Layla," and then I was like, that's not good for a Layla because any creature, any of the Alayla, like, fairies that get made after just die. Um, and same thing with Refine, they're all, like, 1/1s and shit in there, so it's just not gonna work for, like, later in the game. I don't I don't have a place for it. It seems cool, but I don't have a place for it. Um, Brea? Yeah, Brea works, for sure. That works. The flesh is weak is solid for Brea, I'd say. Maybe a little expensive and not an artifact itself, but it works. Inquisitor Eisenhorn. This is one I liked at the beginning, but I don't know if I like this anymore. But 2/3 for 4 mana. You may reveal the first card you draw each turn. As you draw it, whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, create a legendary 4/4 black demon creature token with flying. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, investigate that many times. I don't have anywhere where this is gonna work, like, ever. Naaman Shai Murad. 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may have that player return target permanent card from their graveyard to their hand. If you do, that player chooses a permanent card in your graveyard. Then you put it into the battlefield under your control. I don't have anything for this. I'm sure some people like playing like that. I can never. Nobody trusts me. All right, Sister Hospitaller, 3/2 for 6 mana. When Sister Hospitaller enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its mana value. That's all right. That's all right. Not for me though. I don't have any place for that. Sister Rapid Repentia. All right, 5/1. When it dies, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. And then it has Miracle Black White. Um, I mean, you're paying 5 mana to like kill a creature. Maybe it'd be all right in like a Taste of Karlov type deck. I just don't have a deck that would like that. Yeah, that's all right. The Golden Throne. All right. If you would lose the game, instead exile the Golden Throne and your life total becomes 1. And then you can sacrifice a creature, add 3 mana of any combination of colors. Sure. That's an artifact. That can go in any deck. Sacrifice a creature to ramp? Oh. That could be Rand needs sack outlets. There's enough creatures in Refine and Alayla. Ishin has enough creatures, and that could be some solid mana. That's something we want. Like green doesn't necessarily need the mana. I need the sack outlet though there. I kind of need the mana ramp in Ishin. Hmm. What's something that let's try that in Ishin. Let's check that out. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we can check that out. Inquisitors, Inquisitorial Rosette. This is an equipment for 2 mana. Whenever equipped creature attacks, create a 2/2 white warrior creature token with vigilance that's attacking. Then attacking creatures gain menace until end of turn. That that seems like Ishin could really like that too. The attack trigger, creating 2 tokens, and then everything getting menace anyway. When Knight Paladin enters the battlefield, create or it deals 4 damage to each opponent. I don't care about that. Blink decks, Brago, stuff like that. Another vehicle, 7 mana, 10/10. Reaver Titan, protection from mana value 3 or less. And then, so that's the removal and creatures blocking it. So that's cool. Titan attacks, deals 5 damage to each opponent. That's kind of a lot, but 7 mana is a lot for a vehicle. All right. Redemptor Dreadnought. This is an artifact creature for 4. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. It has trample. And then whenever it attacks, if a card is exiled with it, it gets +X until end of turn, where X is the power of the exiled. So this could get really big. Trample, Ishin attack trigger, Refine, puts a bunch of stuff in the graveyard, but this is really small. These are kind of small. I don't think that's going to work anywhere. All right, last card of the night. Thunderhawk Gunship 6/6 flyer vehicle. Whenever it ETBs, create 2/2 warrior creature tokens with vigilance. Whenever it attacks, attacking creatures you control gain flying until end of turn. It's crew 2. And that's alright. Not gonna go anywhere though. Alright. Hey, I think these decks are pretty cool. It definitely helped out. Let's see. Not so much Varric, nothing for Kestia. Rian got a couple of spicy cards. Happy about that. Savine got some help on a couple. There's 4 there. That could work out. Umbrus got nothing. Beamtown got like 2 cards. Omnath, nothing. But Refine got a bunch of cards. Hinata got a handle a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ain't bad. Yeah, yep. That's a really good point. Black Horizon points out, I bet more of those cards went into possible piles than the standard set. Agreed. Standard sets generally get like 5 or 6 cards total. And these did a good job of like hitting cards. There's 4 or 5 here. Ishin got some really cool card chances to go there. So Ishin should get a little bit of there. Calmax always gets some options. Kelsey gets a little bit of an upgrade there. There's a bunch there that can really work. S6 got 4 cards. Like the squads, I'm really excited about there. Feather got nothing. Let's see here. Alayla got a lot of help there. Lots of choices. That's gonna move some cards. Oscar, not really. Just more like maybe. Let's see here. No, nothing there. Glenn didn't get anything. Kenrith absolutely got Plague Drone and Toxicrene might, but Chaos Defiler. SSA didn't get anything. So plenty of cards to play around with in the future switcheroos coming up here. I might be trying to do switcheroos Sunday night, but I don't know when we're recording. Adam's a little iffy on when he's leaving and going to be back. So keep an eye out on Twitter or in the Discords when we're actually going to live record on YouTube. Uh, we do the podcast live on YouTube if you want to check that out and you're not a part of the Discord. Being on the Discord costs you $1 to become a patron. If you're $5 or more, you have a chance at not having a chance. If you're 5 or more, you get some proxies. Your choice. Adam does a bunch. He has like 300 of them. So you it's pretty cool. We have a good crew. Appreciate everybody that came out. Remember to give a like or subscribe if you're not on. And yeah, have a good night. Bye.